Ozzy Osbourne is and will always be a legend, wild, iconic, unforgettable. But beyond the hits like Crazy Train and Paranoid, there's a darker, deeper side. Today we're digging up 10 underrated tracks that slip through the chaos. These aren't the obvious picks. These are the hidden gems. Let's go beneath the surface. Let's start with number 10, Waiting for Darkness. Now this is how you end an album. Waiting for Darkness is the eerie final track on Bark at the Moon, and somehow it still flies under the radar. Jake E. Lee delivers one of his most underrated performances here, moody, brooding, and full of tension. It's not about shredding fast, it's about the atmosphere. And man, it's thick. Ozzy's voice sounds tormented, like he's trapped between worlds. Lyrically, it's full of paranoia and helplessness. Lines like, "There's no escape," and "That's for sure," really hit when you're in a dark place. It's not a single, it's not a fan favorite, but it is one of the heaviest emotional punches Ozzy ever delivered. If this one doesn't give you chills, you might want to check your pulse. Moving on to number 9, D from the album Blizzard of Oz. This next track is short, sweet, and completely unlike anything else Ozzy's ever released. D is a 50-second acoustic guitar piece, written and performed by the late great Randy Rhoads. It's named after his mother Dolores, and it's a stunning little tribute buried right in the middle of Blizzard of Oz. You can feel the love and respect in every note. There's no distortion, no vocals, no drums, just Randy pouring out emotion with clean tones and classical technique. It's gentle, intimate, and it stops the album dead in its tracks in the best way. This was the soul of Randy Rhoads. It reminds us that beneath all the chaos and theatrics of Ozzy's world, there was heart and real musical beauty. Now, number 8, Miracle Man isn't just a song. It's a punch in the face with a grin. This was the first single from No Rest for the Wicked, and Ozzy came out swinging. It marked the debut of Zakk Wylde on guitar, and the guy wastes no time, opening with a filthy riff and bulldozing his way through the track. But here's the kicker. The song's a full-on roast. Ozzy wrote it as a jab at televangelist Jimmy Swaggart, who publicly attacked Ozzy, then got caught in a sex scandal. The lyrics drip with sarcasm. "I don't need no miracle. I got you." It's funny, heavy, and sneering all at once. And somehow this song doesn't get the recognition it deserves in Ozzy's catalog. Next, number 7 is Hellraiser, written by Ozzy, Zakk Wylde, and Lemmy freaking Kilmister. Hellraiser is exactly what the title promises. Around the world for rock and roll. I keep saying that it's getting too This song is wild. It's a bar brawl in audio form. Zack's riff hits like a crowbar, the drums are pounding, and Ozzy delivers the vocals with that snarling edge. It's gritty, aggressive, and full of attitude. Now here's the weird part. Despite all that, it's rarely mentioned in best of lists. Maybe because it never charted like Mama, I'm Coming Home or No More Tears. But listen closely. This is one of the tightest, most badass tracks of the 90s Ozzy era. Bonus trivia. Lemmy recorded his own version of it too. Different vibe. Same raw energy. But Ozzy's take, that's the soundtrack to smashing tables and kicking down doors. Number 6 hits you right in the gut. Don't you know I love you more than life itself? My Little Man is one of Ozzy's most personal songs. Believe it or not, it was co-written with Steve Vai. That's right. Shred King Vai helped shape this melodic, haunting ballad that sounds nothing like your typical Ozzy track. So I must try teaching you the wrong from right. The lyrics are a message from father to son, full of vulnerability, regret, and love. Lines like "Don't be afraid, you're not alone" carry real emotional weight. Ozzy isn't putting on a character here, he's just being a dad. I would gladly Musically, it's moody and slow burning, with Vai's subtle guitar textures swimming beneath Ozzy's aching voice. It's a rare glimpse at the man behind the madness. Coming in at number 5, it's a raid from the Ordinary Man album in 2020.
I hear them breathing on my telephone.
If Ozzy ever made a punk song during a coke-fueled panic attack, this would be it. It's a Raid is one of the most bonkers tracks from Ordinary Man. Featuring none other than Post Malone. Yeah, you heard that right. And it actually works. The inspiration. Ozzy accidentally hit a panic button during a party in the 70s and thought the police were raiding his house, so he flushed all his drugs. What followed became legend, and eventually this song, Post, and Ozzy trade chaotic screams. The tempo is insane and the energy is off the charts. It sounds like the musical version of Running for Your Life in a leather jacket and no pants. Let's move on to number 4, Let Me Hear You Scream.
Let me hear you scream.
It sounds like it could have come out in 1986, and that's a very good thing. This track opened the Scream album with a bang, and while it wasn't a massive chart hit, it totally captured that classic Ozzy power.
I'll take this phrase, readily I
Heavy riff? Check. Screaming chorus? Check. Fired up vocals from a guy who was not slowing down, even in his 60s? Oh yeah, it was also Ozzy's first major release with Gus G on guitar, and the guy does not disappoint. Throws down a crunchy riff and shreds a solo that would have made Randy proud. The whole track is built for the stage, a call and response anthem made for fists in the air and heads banging in unison. Now we're at number 3, Diary of a Madman. This track is a masterpiece, and yet it rarely gets the love it deserves. Diary of a Madman closes out Ozzy's second solo album with a 7-minute descent into darkness. It's gothic, orchestral, and downright haunting. Randy Rhoads takes the spotlight again, crafting one of the most complex and chilling guitar compositions of his short life. You can hear classical influences all over it, from the layered acoustic intro to the twisted, escalating finale. Ozzy sounds like he's losing his mind as the song progresses, which only adds to the tension. It's not your typical rock song. It's a horror film in music form. If this came out today, critics would call it genius. And honestly, they wouldn't be wrong. Coming in at number 2, Crucify the Dead.
The fire started long ago.
This song didn't even appear on an Ozzy album, and that's probably why most people missed it. Crucify the Dead comes from Slash's 2010 solo record featuring Ozzy on vocals, and honestly, it might be one of Ozzy's best vocal performances of the last 20 years.
New soldiers mounted at your beck and command.
The song is moody, melodic, and soaked in regret, and Slash delivers a slow-burning, emotional guitar part that perfectly matches the vibe. The lyrics cut deep. The fire's gone, so are we. The ash remains. Ozzy sounds worn down but defiant, like someone who's walked through hell and made it out the other side, barely. This is one of those rare songs that sounds better the more you listen to it. A total sleeper gem.
Your ego cuts you till you bleed.
And finally, number 1, You Looking at Me, Looking at You.
Picture building in my head.
This is Ozzy doing disco metal, and somehow it works. You Looking at Me, Looking at You was recorded during the Blizzard of Oz sessions, but never made the final cut.
But nothing lasts forever.
It was only released as a B-side. And that's a shame because this track is pure gold. It's got a funky, upbeat groove that totally throws you off at first, but then Randy Rhoads comes in with a blazing solo, and suddenly you're nodding along like, wait, was this awesome? Spoiler alert, it is. Lyrically, it's playful and weird, like Ozzy's winking at you the whole time. It's not heavy, it's not serious, it's just fun, and that's what makes it so unforgettable. And that's it. 10 Ozzy deep cuts you need to revisit. These songs prove Ozzy wasn't just about the hits. He's emotional, chaotic, theatrical, and always unpredictable. From Randy Rhoads' delicate D to the chaos of It's a Raid, there's way more beneath the surface than most people realize.
But I still ain't had enough.